Finding a lifelong passion is no easy feat. Many people go through their entire lives without finding a hobby that they truly love. However, to find one of these passions and then turn it into something more is truly remarkable. Hey everyone, my name is Riley LaChance, and today I'm going to be telling you a story about my dad, John LaChance, and the way that he turned his passion into a purpose. My dad is one of my greatest role models and a true inspiration to all. But before I get into his story, I'd like to tell you a little bit about homelessness and poverty in the United States and North Carolina. As of January 2019, North Carolina had an estimated 9,314 people experiencing homelessness on any given day. In addition to that, across the United States, the overall homeless population was over 552,000 people in 2018. That's roughly 0.2% of the U.S. population, the equivalent of 17 people per every 10,000. However, while many people aren't necessarily homeless, a large percentage of individuals are considered impoverished. For example, according to the NC Justice Center, in 2018, 14% of North Carolinians struggled to make ends meet. In 2018, about 38.1 million Americans were considered impoverished. This translates to about 11.8% of our total population. Clearly, poverty and homelessness are critical issues in the United States. Let's take a step back, though, and I'll tell you the story about my dad, John LaChance. John LaChance was born in Evansville, Indiana on July 7, 1964. Eventually, his family settled in the rural town of Dade City, Florida, where John would spend most of his childhood. Although his family was considered middle class, many of his peers were not. Growing up in a rural, impoverished town, John empathized with those who were less fortunate than his family. He was the youngest of 5 children, and his 3 brothers and father were all avid woodworkers. From an early age, he too embraced the hobby of woodworking. John graduated from high school in 1982 and then attended St. Leo College and graduated in 1986. After graduating, he entered the food service industry, but he always continued woodworking on the side. In 1994, John built his first workshop in the spare bedroom of his house. He named the shop Acorn Woodworks. At that point, he knew that his passion for woodworking would eventually become more than just a hobby. In 2012, John, his wife Laura, and their 2 children moved permanently to Murphy, North Carolina, where they reside today. Murphy is yet another rural town with an above-average poverty rate. In December 2018, John officially created Acorn Woodworks, a company that specializes in building outdoor furniture. In 2020, John retired and is now able to devote his time to building furniture. Today, John is still committed to helping his local community and individuals less fortunate than him. Therefore, Acorn Woodworks donates 100% of its year-end profits to local charities.
There is a peace and a serenity that I only find in my shop. It's where I'm happiest outside of time with my family and my friends. The shop is my personal space. I've been married for 30 years. I've been a parent for 20 years, but I've been a woodworker for almost 50 years. My dad was a woodworker all of his life, and so I grew up in his shop. Saturday morning, it was a ritual that he and I would go to the local hardware store. I would immediately go to the nail bin and buy 1 pound of nails that I could use in my treehouse that week. I named my first shop Acorn Woodworks in 1994, and even back then, I knew that someday this passion of mine, this passion for woodworking, would morph into something more than just a hobby. The passion was always there, but what was missing was the purpose. And what I decided was that the purpose would be, I would take my love of woodworking, I would build some amazing furniture. I would sell it at arts and crafts festivals, and then I would take all the proceeds and I would donate it to local charities. That's where the purpose came in. Passion with purpose. At Acorn, we talk about happiness to the third power. And what that means is we want personal happiness in our day-to-day activities. We want happiness with our customers, and we want happiness for the people that we don't know through our charitable giving program. I've been blessed all of my life. To have the opportunity to give back to our community, that feels great.
It's a pretty interesting story, and it really shows the generosity of some individuals in this world. Ultimately, my story's theme is giving back, and I think my dad was an excellent case study of that theme. As a storyteller, my motivation was to really show this story through the lens of my dad, John LaChance. When I was first brainstorming this story, I initially planned on telling the story of my dad and his passion for woodworking, but nothing more than that. But I thought about it, and there's more to it than that. I think the most compelling thing about this story to me is showing how much people care. While telling this story, I learned so much about my dad. It's really interesting to learn about his background and these ideals that he's kept throughout most of his life. The generosity that he has shown is remarkable to me. So, Dad, if you're out there listening, thank you.